I want to ask the audience is, who is new to Georgia and has never heard of a SPLOST? So we do have a few in the room. What SPLOST actually stands for is a Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. There's quite a few different SPLOST, and we'll actually see one of those as we kind of go through this PowerPoint slide. But basically what SPLOST is it is a 1% county sales tax that is actually, if it is passed by the voters of the county, is considered a special district, but it is the entire territory of the county. So it's enforced throughout the entire county. And it can be imposed either 5 or 6 years, depending upon whether the county government and the participating municipalities have an intergovernmental agreement or not. If you have an intergovernmental agreement, you can do it for 6 years. If you do not, it is for 5. And that is the reason why the 2013 SPLOST is going for 6 years, and that's what we are anticipating for SPLOST VIII. SPLOST was enacted in 1985 by the Association of the County Commissioners of Georgia, ACCG. It is a county tax. However, the municipalities have the benefit of being able to participate within that. It is typically used for capital outlay projects, whether it be the purchase of equipment, paving of your roads, any kind of building facilities, your water sewer treatment plants. These are all major capital outlay projects that it can go towards. So the sales tax breakdown here in Camden County, we do have a 7% sales tax. 4% of that is the Georgia sales tax. 1% is a LOST, which is a local option sales tax. That is agreed upon by the county and all 3 municipalities every 10 years, along with a census. So we'll be doing another one of those coming up either by the end of this year or next year. And currently, right now, we're actually in SPLOST VII. Those collections for SPLOST VII, they will actually go until June 30th of this year. And we also have what is considered an e-SPLOST, which the voters just passed here recently about 2 years ago, and that is an educational SPLOST. So that actually goes towards all of your Board of Education funding for new schools, new programs, different things of that. So that brings us to a total of 7%. So SPLOST in Georgia, out of all 159 counties in the state, over 98% of them have a SPLOST. There's only 3 counties in the state that does not, and actually 2 of those has what is considered a T-SPLOST, which is transportation. So T-SPLOST, I won't get into that too much, but basically anything that deals with transportation, that is what that funding is meant for. The 3 counties that do not have a SPLOST are Fulton, but Fulton has a MARTA tax as well as a T-SPLOST. Muskogee County, which has a T-SPLOST, and then Towns, which has neither. SPLOST is actually considered to be what you would consider a fair tax, and the reason for that is because the burden does not fall solely on the residents of the county. You have tourism, you have visitors. I will tell you, I've worked in a county where we did not have a major thoroughfare such as I-95, and it is a major benefit to this county that we do have I-95. I know sometimes we may get anxious in traffic or anything like that, but I will tell you the county does make quite a bit of revenue, as well as the cities, off of our current SPLOST, just with having I-95 here, so it absolutely is a benefit. Some of the other benefits of having a SPLOST is it actually reduces your property taxes. There would actually be no way for us to fund some of these initiatives, some of these projects, these recreational projects, having new ambulances, having new fire trucks, new technologies and equipment, public safety that we could actually utilize for the betterment of the county and to make sure all of our citizens are safe, our roads are safe for travel. So it really is a big opportunity for the county. I will tell you, how would you like it if I could give you the benefit of $1, but you only have to put in maybe 60 or 70% of that dollar, so 60 or 70 cents, but you're actually getting the benefit of that entire dollar, and that essentially is what the SPLOST is doing. You have visitors, travelers, tourists that come into the county, whether they're traveling or they're actually staying here locally. Typically, if they're traveling, they stop to use the restroom. 9 times out of 10, they're hungry. They're going to go ahead and grab a bite to eat. They may even fill up their vehicles. So again, all of those are big portions of SPLOST. Every time they spend $1, a portion of that comes back to the county and the municipalities. Some of the other benefits are recreation and leisure activities for families to enjoy. Again, I've already mentioned safer roads, bridges, and transportation services. It provides funding for public safety needs, and I've hit on this already about the ambulances, fire truck, police vehicles, and other emergency equipment that we have. So, I've actually already answered this, but does Camden County currently have a SPLOST? And the answer is yes. We are currently in SPLOST VII, and those collections will actually go until June 30th. SPLOST VII, actually one of the questions that was posed was what are the differences between SPLOST VII and SPLOST VIII? Primarily, overall, there are many items, as a general overview, that they're actually very similar. The only thing that really changes is the actual major projects themselves. And we'll get into that as we go on. But SPLOST VII was a $65 million referendum. And it was actually SPLOST has been approved all 7 times within Camden County. So typically the number behind it delineates, how many SPLOST that we've had. So SPLOST VII, we've had 7 SPLOST thus far. So SPLOST VIII, just a general overview, is a $55 million referendum. We did decrease it by $10 million, and the reason for that is because the economic turnaround has just not really taken off as we had anticipated and really hoped for. The election, like Shannon mentioned, will be held on Tuesday, March 19th. And if this SPLOST is approved by the voters, we would actually begin collections on July 1st of this year. So here is a breakdown by the population by each governmental entity. So you have 3 municipalities, St. Mary's, Kingsland, Woodbine, and the county, which total 50,513. This is based on the 2010 U.S. Census. The SPLOST VIII funding, again, totals to $55 million, and I'll read off which entity is getting exactly how much. St. Mary's is proposed to get $13,375,739. Kingsland is $12,458,095. Woodbine is $1,619,567. The PSA, which stands for the Public Service Authority, they are the authority that handles all of our recreational and leisure activities. They will receive $2,670,000, and the county is to receive $12,526,599. Aside from the proposed splits here, there is a separate portion of SPLOST which is considered our level 2 projects. So in SPLOST VII, the level 2 projects that we had were the Kingsland bypass. We had ambulance purchases in there. We had a public data sharing system that we did, as well as a radio communication system. You'll actually see within SPLOST VIII we have some of those are actually transferring over. So as far as project funding wise, I have it broken out into 5 categories here. So you have buildings and facilities, public works, which basically includes all of your transportation, water, sewer, sidewalks, any kind of capital outlays that would actually go into your road, basically anything that really handles transportation. You have equipment, vehicles, and technology, retirement of existing debt, and then obviously our recreational projects. Let's see, I have a question. Yes, ma'am.
When you show a colored pie chart like that, it would be really nice sitting back here if you would say that yellow is...
Oh, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So yellow is public works. That's 32% of the funding. 20% is the green. That is equipment, vehicles, and technology. The red is the retirement of existing debt. The blue is recreational projects, which totals 3%. And then the orange is your buildings and facilities, which total 28%. Thank you so much for that. So here's a list of our level 2 projects. I know you can't read them from back there, so I will read them out. These are listed in priority, and they have to be listed in priority by the county commission. Therefore, we know exactly how to fund and when to fund. So the first one is our public safety radio communication system. This is actually a carryover from SPLOST VII. So this will actually complete our public safety radio communications plan. And then for priority number 2, we have ambulances. Ambulances is a big priority for us because we provide those countywide, and we want to make sure that we have the equipment and the means to reach you in the event that there is a life-saving issue that we really need to be able to respond to. So again, our ambulances are very, very important for us. The priority number 3 is Superior Court record preservation. What that is, so our Superior Court, our clerk of court, she is tasked with maintaining and preserving all of our records, whether it's land records, basically any record that we have here in the county, she has to maintain. So we want to make sure that in the event of a disaster, whether it's a hurricane, man-made disaster, what have you, we have those codified, basically backed up to where if we ever needed to reach out to them, let's say something devastating happened to the courthouse, we would actually have an opportunity to retrieve all of that data. So that is huge. Property acquisition is another that has been identified. That's priority number 4. Priority number 5 for us is the library renovation and design. This is for the county library located on Gross Road and Highway 40. Priority number 6 is the Highway 17 Blue Bridge boat ramp and parking. We know that we have issues with the St. Mary's boat dock there, which is right off of Highway 17. We hope to really build a nice facility there that people can actually take their boats out and enjoy. There's very limited parking there if you go there right now. It's actually kind of really unsafe the way you have to ingress and egress out of there to get on the Highway 17, so this would correct that issue. Priority number 7 is the Public Health Department facility. The Department of Public Health, they have come to us with a plan, and we're looking to assist them with actually constructing a new facility for them to merge into. And then the last priority is the public safety complex. And what this would actually be is in the event that we do have some type of natural disaster come through, right now we do not truly have it to where we can establish continuity of operations, meaning that we are on city water right now. So if the city water system fails or their sewer system fails, we have really no true means to get that back online other than having, the power companies come back in. But we have been very, very fortunate in the past to where we've actually only received tropical storm force winds. If we actually had an impact of a Category 3, a direct impact into Camden County, we're very concerned with the operations of that building and whether or not we would actually be able to get all of our systems back online for all 3 municipalities and the county to ensure that you all will be able to come back safely into the county. So that, again, is huge. And with that, there's actually an E911 center within that. So you're starting to see in the state a lot of your E911 systems merge in with your emergency management agency, and the reason for that is because they share information so much. And this is just one of those, again, seamless approaches. If you've ever seen our current 911 center, it's really tucked away within the sheriff's office. It's really out of date. We really need to improve that to make sure that we do have the capability, to hear you and actually be able to respond to you. So the total of the SPLOST Level 2 projects is $10,250,000, and again, this was agreed upon by all 3 municipalities, as well as the county and the PSA. There is some statements down here at the bottom. Level 2 projects are those projects that benefit all of the citizens of Camden County. So I do want to ensure that everybody is understanding of that. And once $47 million has been collected and prior to any further proceeds distribution to the municipalities, the county will receive an additional $2.1 million to complete the public safety complex, which is one of our largest level 2 projects. It actually is the largest out of all of them. So definitely an important list of projects here, and that's something that we're all hoping that we can achieve. So one of the things that I wanted to highlight is, if the county and the municipalities had no SPLOST, and if we truly wanted to fully fund every project that is identified within SPLOST VIII, what would that mean in terms of millage? And what would that mean as far as property tax increases? And again, I preface this with saying if, that's a major if, all projects are truly and fully funded. Most of these projects, if a SPLOST were to fail, or if we did not have a SPLOST, they would be taken off, meaning that they just would not be even considered. And they actually are very subject to their councils as well as the Board of Commissioners. So what this basically means, in order to fully fund each entity's respective projects for SPLOST VIII, millage rates could potentially increase by, and again, whenever I say millage rate, this is referring to your property taxes, because ultimately, the only other way that the county and even the municipalities can receive funds is through the millage rate. Everything else is already set at where it is. So for the county, for our portion, including the level 2 projects, because we oversee and administer the level 2 projects themselves, it would be an additional 3.2 mills each year for 6 years. And if you own 100, and all of these rates is what I'm going to give to you, they're all based on the value of a $150,000 home. So if you own a $150,000 home, that's your estimated value, you're looking at around a $179 increase annually on property taxes. And again, that's just the county portion. So if you live in the city, you can add these two numbers together, and that's approximately what it would actually be as far as mill rate terms in dollars. For the city of Kingsland, it'd be an additional 4.5 mills each year for 6 years, which totals to be $270 annual increase. St. Mary's is 3.88 mills each year for 6 years, and that is a $233 increase. And Woodbine is actually 11.99 mills each year for 6 years, which is a $719 annual increase in property taxes. So SPLOST really does mean a lot to the county and the municipalities. And again, you know, this is not by any means any kind of scare tactic. This is basically the truth as far as what SPLOST means in terms of dollars considered to your mill rate. We do that to ensure that the voters know exactly, you know, what could potentially happen. By no means or ways am I saying or anybody saying that all of these projects would be completed if SPLOST did not pass, but this is just what it means in terms of our mill rate dollars. So again, just wanted to make sure everybody's understanding of that. And if anybody has any questions at the end, I'll be more than happy to try to answer those. So I want to leave you with kind of what can you do. So us as government officials and agencies, we cannot advocate on or against for SPLOST. So no public money can be spent for any kind of campaigning for SPLOST. You know, this is for informational purposes only, and it'll continue to be that way. Now, one of the things that you could do as citizens is provide letters to the editor. You could partner with the Chamber of Commerce. Reach out to those citizens that may have questions about what a SPLOST is. What are the benefits that we are currently receiving out of SPLOST? I'll tell you that, you know, a lot of the, all of your ambulances that you see on the road right now, your fire trucks, your police vehicles, all of those have been purchased with SPLOST money. Your water sewer treatment plants, your roads, your road systems themselves, your sidewalks, 99% of the time, those are SPLOST funded. So again, SPLOST is actually a very important piece to the community. So with that, I'll kind of open everything up for any questions that you may have, and we'll try to take them one at a time. Yes, sir.
Well, so basically it's a 1% sales tax, right?
Yes, sir. 1% sales tax. So for every dollar that is spent, 1 penny of that comes back to the county and is then distributed amongst the 3 municipalities in the county as well as the PSA.
How do you know that you'll raise 55 million? What if you raise more or less?